My name is Tunisia Sharpe. Everybody calls me Toonie.
Toonie.
And I am an industry manager for consumer product goods at Pinterest.
At Pinterest.
Yeah.
I was just telling her before the interview started, I love me some Pinterest.
Yes, I love to hear it. I love to hear it. I love to hear it. Thank you.
I have been on Pinterest for many, many years, since about 2011.
Early days.
Yeah, early days of Pinterest, and I'm still on there now. It is an unproblematic app.
Have you tried skin tone yet?
No, what is that?
Girl. We are evolving as a company. So you can now put in your skin tone, you can put in your hair type, you can put in your body shape, and everything that comes up in your feed is tailored to that. So,
really?
Yes. If it's been a while, dust it off.
I love it.
And check it out.
I love it. Pinterest is an unproblematic app. That's what I'll say. The least.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. I
love
you know?
So
my grandma can go on Pinterest.
Absolutely. Exactly. Absolutely.
Yes.
So you have been in sales for how long? How long have you?
15 plus years.
15 years.
That's right.
What is one thing that keeps you anchored to sales?
I love what I do. Now, let me tell you what I mean when I say I love what I do. Similar to the women on the panel that I just moderated, there were skill sets that I had at a time when I had no intention to be in sales that really came to life and helped me stand out in a pack when I honestly got my first sales gig because I wanted to work at MTV on the creative side. My point of entry was through being a sales assistant. And those skill sets include, I'm just naturally a people person. I naturally like to understand how things work. My father, his career was in customer service, and so I knew what excellence there looked like.
Wow.
And I, I'll just be honest, I grew up broke. So when I saw those things came together and I could make money, that was it. That was it.
I love that. You have a great personality.
Thank you.
I mean, I could just tell you.
You say that to everybody.
No,
thank you.
I mean, everyone here has had a good personality.
Sure, of course.
But you have a very good personality. And do you think that has really paved your way in sales? And I guess what I'm asking is, can anyone do sales, or does it take a specific personality to really reach the heights that you've reached?
It's such an interesting question. The answer is no, not everybody can do sales. There are a lot of people who maybe were on the buying side and they say, oh my God, these sellers are a dime a dozen and they're making money. I can do it. And those people jump in to the frying pan and they jump right back out.
Wow.
The thing is, when it comes to sales, you don't have to have my skill set, right? But you do have to have a certain level of being able to meet people where they are. If you're going to be successful, to be able to meet brands and marketers where they are, because I specifically work in media sales. And you have to hustle hard. And the biggest part that is so challenging for people is not being able to persist from constant no's. Because people don't realize you hear a million no's before you get that first yes.
Wow.
And even after you get that first yes, you hear a million more no's. And so you have to be resilient, you know?
How did you build up that resilience, though? I mean, because I know you have a bright personality and you seem,
It took practice.
Yeah.
No, it really took practice. I had to learn to get comfortable. I grew up without money, so I had to learn to get comfortable asking people for money. Honestly, when I started my career, the biggest turnoff for me was like, these salespeople are flashy and they talk about money all day, every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I grew up broke enough that, if people started talking about money, I was going to go get my drink refilled. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't identify. But in that way, practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
And depending on the sales organization you join, there are ways to stair-step your way towards that comfort. So I started as a sales assistant, completely uncomfortable asking for money. I became a media planner, said, okay, like this is your right to ask for the money. I learned what that was. And then became a junior salesperson and got to really win or learn the most effective ways for me to ask for money. And the most effective ways for me to do it are not a hard truth. You know, you have to
Mm.
explore what works well for you.
Right.
And
right.
people will let you know if it's not working because they won't give you a dime. People don't spend money with people they don't want to spend money with.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true.
Yeah.
What has been the most strategic thing that has gotten you to where you are right now?
So you probably have heard this answer a lot. But the most strategic way that I've gotten to where I am is because people will tell you as you grow, like, trust the process, trust the process. That is code for don't worry about it. But it's my career and I own my career, right?
Yeah.
So my secret sauce was always being curious, having the humility to say with my peers if they knew something I didn't know, building a rapport with them and being able to ask them, can you show me? It's incredible what you're doing. I don't know how to do it. Can you show me? Making quality time with people who have influence at an organization, not just in sales, but at the organization, will have influence. And actually, you know, youngins even, I still meet with youngins. I put time on their calendar, but asking them about what they're working on.
Wow.
You would be surprised how many ways my job has been supplemented by me meeting with assistants and just talking to them.
Wow.
And they start dropping gems about things that I had no idea about. Now, when I'm in my meetings with my peers and up, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Because what I'm hearing is, you know, and once you start putting yourself out there and meeting with executives, like just letting them know what you aspire to do, asking them a lot about themselves, and then continuing to foster that relationship. So when the opportunity does come up, your name is in the pot and they say, oh yeah, I know that person. That's good people. They're great at what they do too.
That is very excellent advice. And I mean, while you were talking, I was just thinking like, let me write that down. I was thinking that to myself.
Listen, it really, really helps.
Yeah.
The higher you go up the ladder, not me, but the higher you go when you're networking up the ladder, you'll notice that a lot of people aren't putting one-on-one time on with the senior folks. And, you know, people want that more than you might think.
Right.
One of the biggest learns I had for some of the diversity initiatives I've worked on at Pinterest is people are afraid to ask for that quality time, especially if they're early on in their career, because they feel as though, and I mean like people of color, we feel as though we have to be perfect in the room. Okay, I need to have a tight agenda. I need whatever I'm about to say to be transformative. No, you don't.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
It's just,
I'll set the time.
Yeah.
And I will think a couple days out, like, okay, what am I actually going to do? Like, what are we going to talk about? Like, I know, like, that one of the panelists mentioned, like, having an agenda.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be a tight agenda. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes I will literally just be like, I heard you're focusing on this and I would love to learn more. And then a couple days out, then I'm like, okay, I said learn more. What is it that I need to back into that means I'm learning something, you know? Point being, perfection's not necessary.
Yeah. What, you know, it's so interesting because just hearing everything from today, I have just been blown away because Black women, we are so dope. I just have to say that. We are so dope.
Girl, magic. Unicorns, like the whole thing. Like,
just the way that we have been able to get in these spaces and navigate.
Right.
All of these, the language is even different.
Right. Right.
And still make it to where we need to be is just truly phenomenal.
Well, can I say one thing, and it's controversial, and I would have if we'd had more time on the stage.
You can.
I know some people are anti this, but I actually love code switching. Guess what? You maybe haven't earned the right to learn the full me. I am a Black, wonderful, dynamic person, and I'm saving that for when I'm around my people. This is business.
That's a mic drop right there. I absolutely agree.
Yeah, it is what it is.
So let's just talk about that for a second then. How can you show up to work as your full self, but then not have your full self, if that makes sense?
It does. You're looking at one of the ways that I do now. So I've been in this business, like I said, 15 plus years. I struggled. I always wanted to grow my hair out natural. I kept my hair, I was always getting my relaxers because I thought I had to show up with what is considered, appropriate attire for corporate America. I read this book called Black Magic, and it was transformative for me because as I was struggling with that same question, the balancing act, this book came on my radar, and it is literally chronicles some of the most exceptionally successful Black people in whatever their particular field is, sharing how they went through it too, and that they found that when they did lean into their authenticity, they that's when they thrived, right? So for me, I don't need to talk to you about a cookout, right? But guess what? I grew my hair out.
Right.
I'm wearing braids.
Right.
It's two-toned.
I love it.
It's two-tone. What?
And they look amazing.
Thank you. So there are ways like that where I just, had to get comfortable and then realized it wasn't your discomfort that I needed to worry about because I'm good at what I do.
Right. Yeah.
I'm good at what I do. It's a blessing.
What would you tell the younger you? What would you tell the you 15 years ago when you were first getting into sales, when you were first getting into this corporate world? What would you say?
I'd smile because I was just having a conversation. I would say trust your gut. You were right. Trust your gut. Because the times where I moved in fear or felt like I was not worthy, those turned into the hardest moments of my professional career.
Wow.
It is when I carried myself as worthy and didn't ask for permission to be in rooms that I should be in that I thrived.
Wow. I love that. I just have to say, this is what I'm going to say it. This is the best interview. This is the best interview. And maybe I'm being biased because it's Pinterest.
Thank you. I walked in with a little bit of an advantage. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, I know that company. And like, I'm down with it.
Right. This is amazing. Tell us what are you working on right now and how can we support you? How can the viewers who are going to watch this,
am I plugging right now? Am I doing a plug?
You are plugging.
Okay. Merlene, this one is for you. Please, if you are not already aware of Black Women on Boards, it is an organization that you should be familiar with. If you're able to either join in or in any way support the cause, please do. It is literally an organization led by Black women who are on the boards of companies that you have heard of. They are lifting as they climb. So when I say that you've heard of, they're on the boards of Salesforce. They're on the boards of GitHub, of Shake Shack. And there are so few of us there.
Wow.
As I sit here, I am still very much learning what it means to be on a board and my path there as a Black woman. And they exist to form connectivity amongst themselves, but then also to support the next wave and help prepare us for board work. I am a member of their Risers program, right? So that means I'm mid-career and just learning so much. Yeah. There are so many more. The first time, I fangirled the first time I was with them because I didn't even realize the excellence I was surrounded by. I was like, oh, you guys wanted to get a bottle of champagne? Like, there's this app for that. I was being cute.
Yeah.
And they said their names and I looked them up on LinkedIn. It was like one by one. I started sweating like, oh my God, hold on, let me get my life together. You all do what? Where? How? And you all know each other? It was beyond unicorn status. It was like I was in Never Neverland. I didn't know this place existed.
Wow.
And so please check them out. Black Women on Boards, and support in any way you can.
Black Women on Boards. I am going to look that up as soon as we wrap here. I love that. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here.
Such a pleasure. Thank you for asking. Thank you for having me.
Yes, absolutely. Just sharing your light, sharing your wisdom, and just continuing to just help the next generation too.
If we can't help ourselves, what are we doing? If we can't help each other, what are we doing?
That's right.
That
brings me to another question too. This is probably my last question.
Okay.
we do help each other a lot, and I do that too in my organization as well. But there are some Black women who feel, and I have encountered some Black women like this,
Sure.
who feel it can only be me.
Well, you know, skin folk, kin folk, we already know how that goes. Those aren't the people that you're meant to. I mean, you know, if that's how they carry themselves, then that is their journey. You know, it is, some of us feel duty bound, and some of us feel very self-bound, I guess, is a clunky way to say it. And so, you know, good luck to them.
Yeah.
Good luck to them.
Is it better to just kind of disassociate?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to do it in a way that is pronounced, that is palpable, anything like that. But yes, because it's never going to serve you. And they're only looking to serve themselves. So,
yeah,
you know,
that's amazing advice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We
it was
appreciate
a pleasure.
you.
Thank you for having me. All right. All the best with the rest of your interviews and things.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you. You did wonderful.
Thank you.